likes me. Nobody likes me. But that's okay, because I don't like y'all anyway. And I don't like y'all anyway.
We need to pay attention to all this stuff. And don't muddy the waters. Don't let your mind get sidetracked. Because you need to remember that when, it's going to be time to vote again soon. So it's going to be local elections, all this stuff, everything, all these elections. You have to remember that the Republicans would rather collude with Russians than collude with Americans.
Them Staten Island niggas still puffing them dust blunt.
Donald Trump is a white supremacist who enables white supremacists. No lie. I mean, that's accurate. It's an accurate assessment of the situation.
Them Staten Island niggas still puffing them dust blunt.
Dragnets. How do they work? Just say no. Yeah. Here's the problem with just saying no. You can go about your life trying not to do drugs, but you turn on the news and you see Wigmaster over there talking about public health emergencies. That's why drugs are hard to stop. Because of people like that. Big week. It's always a big week. Can't we please have an uneventful week? That's all I want. All I want is one.
Them Staten Island niggas still puffing them dust blunt.
Oh, Jay, why are you wearing that resist shirt? What are you resisting? Bunch of isms and trees. Bigotry, misogyny, racism, fascism, and sexism. The people here are the people on the South Shore, in the rich neighborhoods, the richer neighborhoods, not the poor neighborhoods, are brought up on bigotry, hatred, and classification of, societal roles. Hey yo, what goes on? Dyze in your house, back in your house. Again, explain what this is. An extension of the J Porks podcast. Every Friday, 6 p.m., we are coming to you with a short, contrite podcast. We're going to bridge the gap. It's too many crazy stories going on. There's too many people getting marginalized. There's too much hate going around in this country for me to just sit here and sit back and take it and only come at you once a week. So every Friday you get at me. It's Dyze in your house. It's on YouTube, 6 o'clock every Friday. And if you want more, you get at me at JPorks on Twitter. And you can get in, ask questions, comment on YouTube. Go to the YouTube page, comment. I will address all your needs on the podcast. I want this to be an outlet for you as much as it's an outlet for me. Again, I like talking to myself, but I don't have to do it. I can, I can write, things in my little notepad on my iPhone. I don't need to do this, but I want to give people the opportunity to hear me break it down. Yo. And I promise you that break in the background music for when I said break it down was absolutely not planned at all. It was crazy how that happened. Check this out, right? House Republicans passed their tax bill today. Right? And the Republicans were it was a round of applause for the, marginalization of people that don't make a lot of money. So, brass tacks, pardon the pun, here's who's getting their taxes raised. People that make between the dollar amounts of $10,000 a year and $75,000 a year. Those people, their taxes are going up. Now, let me just say this. The floor is 10 grand and the ceiling is 75 grand. I'm safe. I'm safe. And I mean, the background music is supposed to keep going. That's what background music is. I'm not cutting it. No cuts. No cuts on Dyze in your house. Okay. So their tax bill, $10,000 and $75,000. If you make that in a year, your taxes are going up. And good news for me, I make about, probably $3,000 a year or whatever if I work all the hours I'm scheduled. So that's good. So I'm safe. You know who's getting a tax break? There is some families that are going to save a lot of money. They're going to save so much money. The Trump family. They're going to save some money. You know how much money they're going to save over the next few years with this tax bill? $1 billion. $1 billion. Now imagine you have somebody who claims to be the leader of the country, right? They claim that they have all this money. They have everything. Yeah, everything's gold. Everything's top of the line. When in fact those are lies. And you have this family that lives like this. And they're getting they're gonna save $1 billion? And you got a guy who's representing the party that wants to sit around and cut funding from all things that matter, like education and healthcare and stuff like that? That's what you want to do? You're going to sit there and tell me, oh, we got to defund this, we have to defund that, we have to defund that, oh yeah, and I'm going to make $1 billion, and that's that. I just don't think that anywhere, I mean, trust me, when our forefathers were drawing up the Constitution, they tried very hard to make sure that something like this wouldn't happen. They did a pretty good job, whereas it took 200-something years for something like this to happen. But we have somebody who behaves like they're the king, like they're the dictator. But that's not what this is. This is a democracy. There are 3 branches of government, and they are equal branches of government. And the House passed that tax bill today. Now, the Senate is working on their own tax bill. Now, getting into the political realm here, like, over the past year or so, year and a half, when I've moved away from music on my podcast, and I'm talking more about, like, House Judiciary and Senate committees and stuff like that, like, I'm learning a lot. Like, so, the House Republicans worked on a bill that they passed, but the Senate is working on their own bill, a bill that's worse. This bill has lower approval than Trump does. I mean, that's historically bad approval for a bill. And, like, the Senate bill they're working on, which slim of passing, you know what? I don't know if it's slim. I know that there are 8 maybes, and the Republicans can only afford 2 no's. You know Rand Paul's a no, because, he's always the opposite of what his party's doing, because he has to be weird. And, you're going to have the women, you're going to have Murkowski and Collins, because they voted no on the health care. So this Senate tax bill has the Obamacare, the problem is that I call it Obamacare. It's not Obamacare. It's the Affordable Care Act. But this branding has been placed in our minds where, like, you just say Obamacare. It's not. The Affordable Care Act, the individual mandate, which means everybody has to have health insurance, they slipped into the tax cut, into the tax bill. They slipped in a little thing like, oh yeah, and people don't need to get health insurance anymore. Oh, okay. Well, that's all fine and dandy, and I'm sure that helps pad your numbers on your CBO score, which is going to be terrible, by the way. But, I mean, that's kind of a sneaky way to kick 13 million people off healthcare, is it not? Is that not a little Sly Stallone way to do it? I mean, if you want to kick them off healthcare, do it the old-fashioned way and pass a healthcare bill with enough lies in it that these senators vote yes on it. Because you got half the Senate, the Republican senators, they got 52 of them, and they all want to take things away from everybody. But somehow you can't all come together and agree on the exact amount of stuff you want to take away from everybody. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy. It's just sad. And you can't even focus on this because you know what the Republicans want to throw at you? They want to throw Al Franken at you. Oh, we need an ethics committee. Now listen. I'm not gonna defend Al Franken. What he did was wrong. And there is no excuse for what he did when he did it. He apologized. He said that we should have an ethics review. He's gonna go to the ethics board, the Senate Ethics Committee. People are saying, "Oh well, Jay, they'll, gotta throw out Al Franken." You know when the last time a senator was thrown out of the Senate? If you want to prelude to Roy Moore in 3 weeks, the last senator to be thrown out was in the 1800s for having Confederate sympathies for the Confederacy. That's the last time a senator was unseated by the Ethics Committee. So, like, I don't know. Listen, there's a lot, and for the sake of my party, I just hope that this is Al Franken's isolated incident here, because it's unacceptable. And as somebody who's a champion for women's rights and stuff, I see that come out, and it really hurts, man. It's like, damn. But you know what? I mean, I'm not comparing. They're not the same. The only thing similar about Al Franken and Roy Moore is that, unwanted sexual advances were happening. And I don't mean to keep piling on the Roy Moore train, but this guy, let's go 32, going after, takes a 14-year-old girl back to his house. I mentioned that last week on Dyze in Your House, and then I brought it up on the J Porks podcast again. But I've got more clarity on the situation, okay? And the more clarity on the situation is that Roy Moore, it was known throughout the town that Roy Moore was creepy. Roy Moore met a girl who was a senior in high school at the department, at Sears, I think, or it was a department store. He met her there, and then called the school to ask the principal if he can ask this girl out on a date. She's a senior in high school. And he's out there, he's got pastors at his press conference. It's not like, oh, okay, Roy Moore might have been, gross with some broads. It's not like, oh, Roy Moore, took advantage of, women who look. These were kids. And then you hear about this guy and this joke has been worn out all week, but I'm gonna use it anyway. Roy Moore is banned from the mall, okay? He's banned from the Gadsden Mall in Alabama. Now, have you seen the quality of people that are allowed to hang out at the mall for endless periods of time? And Roy Moore was deemed not appropriate to hang out at the mall, but they're gonna let him into Capitol Hill? Man, it's sick and twisted behavior. Sick and twisted to allow that to happen. So to recap, women assaulting them, not good. Rape, not good. Pedophilia, not good. But somehow, and I'm still predicting this. We are 3 weeks out. Roy Moore is the next senator of Alabama. You can put that in your pipe and smoke it. Came out too early. These people said they would rather vote for a pedophile than a Democrat. I mean, that's Alabama for you. I mean, I know Conrad Thompson's from Alabama. But besides that, come on. Roll Tide, right? I don't know. Got one more thing on Dyze in Your House I want to hit real quick. It's just sick and twisted behavior continues. So the Trump administration, or as I call it, the Trump regime, is now allowing the remains of elephants legally hunted in Zimbabwe and Zambia to be imported to the United States as trophies. African elephants are listed as threatened under the Endangered Species Act, but the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has determined that large sums paid for permits to hunt the animals could actually help them by putting much-needed revenue back into conservation, according to the agency's statement Wednesday. Under the Obama administration, elephant hunting trophies were allowed in South Africa and Namibia, but not in Zimbabwe because Fish and Wildlife decided in 2015 that the nation had failed to prove that its management of elephants enhanced the population. Okay, let's stop right there because I just wanted to get the gist of it because I saw elephant trophies and I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like participation trophies. Like, all right, so this is the Don Jr., Eric Trump pictures of them holding up a tiger and stuff. This is what they do. So, like, I don't care where you stand. Like, you want to kill animals? For what? All right, if you're Ted Nugent and you're looking for a meal, I don't like it. But, I mean, okay. But, like, you're gonna... Elephants? For trophies? I just don't understand it. And it's just... Well, I do understand it. Because Obama said, you know, we can't do that. So, of course... Oh, well, if Obama said we can't do it, then we have to reverse that policy. We have to reverse all Obama-era policies. Seems like that's the trademark of this fascist regime. Making sure anything Obama did, like if Obama wrote in blue pen, this guy's got to write in black pen, you know? I mean, it's just everything. And none of it matters. Listen, if you think that people should go kill elephants for trophies, I want you to Google how the woolly mammoth can help global warming, okay? Just Google that. Google it. In short, the woolly mammoth, they're heavy enough that they stomp on the ice, they stomp on the snow, they harden up the snow into ice, therefore maintaining polar ice caps. Over time. It's obviously, we're not going to breed some woolly mammoths, let them out in the Arctic, and, oh, it's going to be cold tomorrow and, you know, the planet is fine. No, but I'm saying that maybe these animals that inhabited the planet for, I don't know, years before we did, thousands of years before we did, maybe they were doing it good. And maybe we should let them rock. I mean, unless it's not like these elephants are killing babies. It's not like these elephants are banned from the Gadsden Mall. It's not like these elephants are trying to grope 14-year-old women. Teenage girls. It's not like that at all. These are just animals walking in safari, in their life, living. And you need a trophy because you're a rich guy. It's disgusting why anybody would want to kill anything that's not hurting anybody on this earth. It's just, like, I don't get the hunting thing. I don't do the hunting. Like, I don't understand why, like, you know, I don't think people should have guns. Oh, Jay, you need it for hunting. You need it for hunting? You need to hunt? Why? Why do you need to hunt? You would think with technology you can put on a freaking virtual reality mask and hunt for sport. I mean, I had Duck Hunt on Nintendo. You know, that was all the hunting I needed, and I was like 6 when that was over. Does anyone think about the technology behind Duck Hunt? Think about that for a second. Like, the gun, the controller was a gun, and you pointed it at the screen, and it had like it knew where you were pointing. That technology was so ahead of its time, its parents haven't met yet. Man. But I don't get the hunting. I don't get the killing animals. I mean, if you know me, you know I'm a guy, you know, I love little furry animals. I got my cat's in my closet right now. Listening to the Dyze in the house, you know? But, like, I can't get on board with anybody that wants to just rid the earth of beautiful creatures that did nothing to you. It's not infestation. They're elephants. They're not in the city. They're in the wild, where they should be. They're in Africa. It's getting harder and harder to look fellow Americans in the eye and actually not want to go buy them a helmet for... Because, I mean, the way these people behave, I wonder how they're getting around without wearing helmets all day long. I just don't get it. Alright. This weekend, we got an early Thanksgiving in Jersey with Amanda. So, that's where I'm going to be all weekend. Dirty Jers. You can get at me on Twitter at JPorks if you want to, you know, get up on in this podcast. Either, whatever way I spliced those words, it wasn't going to work. So I'm just going to go. So, at JAYPORKS on Twitter. Get at me. Ask me questions. Tell me I'm stupid. I don't care. Call me a liberal snowflake. It's the Blizzard of Us. Blizzard of Us. Dyze in your house. Next week.